Don't mind me. We are prepping for the first wedding of the year, so it's a little bit chaos. We've got to leave in like 15 minutes. And I'm just going to smash this out. Life, cost of living, inflation, and on top of it all, you've got a wedding to plan. Are we serious? It seems like everywhere you're bleeding money, but that's where getting this one thing down will really help you go far. Hello everyone, my name's Grace. I'm the founder and owner of Budget Wedding Stories, where we help couples like you have incredible memories for affordable prices. Now, wedding planning, wedding budgeting is one of the biggest things that you need for your wedding plan. Otherwise, you will be going insanely out of proportion. Now, a lot of people just throw a magic number in the air and hope that it'll stick. But no, we need to actually be realistic to help prevent you going over your budget and actually help you get a proper idea of where you're at. Maybe you do actually have a little bit more to spend than you realize. So in this video, I want to walk you through how to set a proper, realistic budget that's going to carry you through for this wedding season. Number one, let's actually figure out the amount of money that you have to play with. Now, for most couples, I recognize that they are not on a written budget month to month. So this is actually going to be the longest component of this whole wedding plan section. So what you need to do is you need to sit down with your significant other, your spouse-to-be, and figure out your monthly budget. What do you guys spend? Where is it coming in from? Where is it going out from? How much do you have to play with? If you are already on top of like a monthly written budget, you're already miles ahead. What you need to do is pretty much figure out a realistic number of how much you can save per month to go just to the wedding. I'm not talking about savings as a whole, because we don't want to drain from your savings as a whole. I'm talking how much can you afford to put aside just for the wedding, because there's no point in setting a budget for $15,000 if you only make $15,000 a year. So yes, that's your first thing. Get on a written monthly budget to commit to a certain amount to save for the wedding each month. And of course, this is a little bit more difficult if you've got split finances. It also opens up a question of what are you guys going to do financially going in as a married couple? All very important things to consider. All right, now let's focus on the biggest to the smallest. Or actually, let's focus on the most important first. What are your biggest, most essential items that you want on your wedding day? Is it your dress? Is it the venue? Is it the type of cake that you want? Pretty much what is most important and what is most essential to you to have, bar none. And prioritize those first. Okay, your cake may be $400, it may be $50. All right, that's at the top of your budget because that is most essential to spend on. From there, you can then start to work on the least important options. Maybe you're not super keen on having a videographer, but it's still nice to have. And maybe you don't want a photographer at all, so you just put that at the bottom. And then, of course, you then need to start figuring out how much you want to allocate to these items accordingly. So, of course, start with the items most essential to your heart and work from there. Being realistic, I think what's really helpful in this time is posting in some local Facebook groups, wedding planning groups. There are so many, pretty much for every region across Australia. And what you can do is you go, hey, this is my budget. Maybe actually just post your budget and be like, hey, this is what I'm assigning to each vendor. Is this realistic? What did you guys spend in this area? And from there, you actually may get some really helpful recommendations and word of mouth referrals for vendors that you could potentially be using for your wedding day. And so here it's really important to figure out what vendors are you hiring? What vendors aren't you hiring? If you're going with a venue, is it an all-inclusive package? Or if you're not going with a venue, do you, as a result, have to hire chairs and a table and other decor as a result of not going with an all-inclusive package or a venue that offers those things? All right, start marking down where you can save. Do you have friends that you can do it? Can you DIY it? You still want to have some budget allocation to these things. So for example, if you're asking for entertainment from a local university and you're like, all right, I will offer you fuel money and a meal in exchange. Be sure to keep that in your budget. Don't let those line items disappear now because you've saved on something. And so then remember reallocating all those savings back into the pool that you can play with and work with for your wedding day. But some also other things to consider. Can you slim down packages that vendors are offering? Can you instead opt for post-wedding payment plans as well? Or do they offer payment plans up toward the day? These are all important things to consider and see if there are options. Just chat with your vendor. They may have options, they may not. So it's up to the individual vendor as an FYI. On top of that, revet the list. Once you've done all these things, resit down, get a sober look. I'd probably give a few days to just let your mind reset. Look at it and go, okay, what are some more things that I can cull? Are there vendors that aren't super essential now that I've seen how much they cost? Are they friends or family members that don't really have to be there? One really helpful thing that we did is we had pretty much an open invite to our ceremony, which was held at our church. So it didn't really matter how many people were there. So it was an open invite, so then everyone felt like they got to come, but then the reception was a little bit more closed invite. I think we had about 62 people at the reception, and that allowed us to really really strike down on finances and figure things out and be able to spend a little bit more on the people who were there. On top of that, reassess everything. Give yourself a bit of a buffer, maybe at least 10%, because ultimately, if we're being honest, budgets will blow out as you get closer to the wedding. That's why sometimes for a lot of couples, I would actually recommend a shorter engagement period so it doesn't blow out as much. But that's always something to consider for your situation. You know yourself best. And then at the end of the day, now you have your new number. So go forth, go wedding planning, and I wish you all the best. Anyway, that's all from us. All the best wedding planning, and may you have a fabulous day.